have been planted since 1907, and tonight is the 236th meeting, and none of them have been friendly, Larry. As far as Kansas is concerned, the sheriff is back in town, Jacques Vaughn.
Well, it's nice to have him back. I know for Kansas, he missed 10 games with a right wrist injury. It's nice to have him back because they're getting ready to start Big 12 conference play. And the one thing you want to have is senior guard leadership, and I think this guy may be the best in the country.
They have got some great salty folks inside as well. Major concern tonight for K-State, and also their star inside, Aker.
Yeah, Gerald Aker's got his hands full. He's going up against two of the better players on the inside for Kansas. Obviously with Scott Pollard and Rafe LaFrance, he's got his hands full, as does this whole K-State defense.
So it's Kansas and K-State coming your way right after we pause for this.
Do you have what it takes to win the game?
I need an ace.
You already have all the aces.
Yeah, but I need an ace to fix my car.
There's no need to gamble with your car safety. Deal yourself an ace at Ace Steering and Brake Service Incorporated. Ace Steering and Brake Service specializes in brake service, wheel alignment, suspensions, CV joints, and wheel balancing. Family owned and operated since 1963. Take your car to the professionals you can trust. Ace Steering and Brake Service, located behind Whelan's at 6th and Minnesota. Call 843-1300 for an appointment.
If you've dreamed of elegant oak furniture, then Oak Warehouse in Perry wants you to stop and live your dream. Handcrafted, stunning oak from Oak Warehouse has the quality that will be enjoyed and cherished for generations to come. You'll never pay those outrageous big city prices because Oak Warehouse is a warehouse. Open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in downtown Perry by the railroad tracks. Oak Warehouse.
Sold out. In fact, they're still coming in here at the Bramlage Coliseum in Manhattan, Kansas on this Saturday night. This is always a fun one as they come over the interstate. Number 70, head coach Roy Williams and his guys. And, of course, as you look at the starters right there, the forward, number 45, the junior Rafe LaFrance, he may be the most improved player in this conference. In fact, he may be the most improved player in America, for that matter. He is really a force inside. And for the home folks, Tom Asbury, the head coach in his third year, coming over here from Pepperdine. Schwartzendruper gets a start at guard tonight. He's had problems with a hamstring. And Larry, he's got to start shooting a little bit better because the cold shooting for K-State has really been costly to them as of late.
Well, the two guys that have really hurt them, Aaron Schwartzendruber, and also on the other end, Manny Dies, are the two guys that are shooting under 35%. When you got two guys in your starting lineup shooting around that, you've got problems. And as Tom Asbury told us today, we have really got to pick our shooting up against this club, but then who doesn't against Kansas?
Well, that's true. Tom Harrington, the referee, David Marisic, and Allie Prescott are the umpires. Inside, knocked away by Aker. It'll stay with KU.
Looks like Kansas State is going to open up zone on this out-of-bounds play. Let's see if they stay in it.
I don't think they will because Asbury said they normally zone their inbounds plays. As you see a great move by Pollard inside, taking it very strong to the hoop.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Aker really has his hands full with Pollard and LaFrance in there.
Schwartzendruber goes inside to Aker, reverses the move, and it's blocked by Pollard.
Aker, one of the leading shot blockers in the Big 12, getting a little of his own medicine there.
Pierce back to Vaughn. Well, it looks to me like the wrist is darn close to being 100%, doesn't it to you?
That's about as pretty a three-point shot as I've seen all year.
Wow.
Look at his defense. Vaughn just a complete basketball player. Great leadership.
Inside, taken away by Vaughn. On the floor, gets the bounce pass over to Pollard. The Jayhawks will push it up again. They'll get a new clock as it was kicked by Bay.
Well, one of the things I like about Jacques Vaughn, not only his leadership, I mean, he's got the ability. Look at this outside shot. Now, you got to remember, this is only his third game back, having missed the first 10. But this Kansas team did not miss a beat while he was out of there.
Ryan Robertson, which we will talk more about in the course of the evening, just did a tremendous job replacing Jacques Vaughn.
And Kansas State's back in a 2-3 matchup zone.
Vaughn for three. Good look inside, and LaFrance reverses it up. He'll go to the line, and it's Aker who gets the foul.
This is a Kansas team that's averaging rebounding 44 rebounds a game to their opponent's 29. And they get a lot of offensive rebounds. And this guy is the leader when it comes to the offensive glass. Look at Rafe LaFrance go up. Pierce is with him. Pollard on the other side. This is a strong front court off that backboard.
You see averaging just over 8 rebounds a ball game. And Larry, he really attacks the glass. That is one of the things that he has learned. Plus, time in the weight room has made a difference with him.
You know, oftentimes when you got a club that is as good an offensive rebounding team as what we're seeing in Kansas, they're vulnerable to the run out. But they've got such quick guards that get back, both Haas and Vaughn. They make it very difficult for you to come out and run on them. Full court pressure by Kansas.
K-State pressured as they just get it across. Schwarzenegger back out on top, and this time he's matched up against Pierce. As Vaughn is on the wing right now.
Look at that defense.
May pulls up. He was fouled by Pierce. Pierce thought he walked, but he's going to go to the line for a couple. First foul on KU and the first on Pierce.
Well, there was an interesting situation defensively there because Haas went out, tried to make the steal, missed it. When he missed it, Pierce goes over and helps his man who's getting ready to take the shot. That's the type of defense Roy Williams is teaching in Kansas.
You know, Larry, I think that the defense in this league has gotten better and better, particularly with a couple of coaching changes that have come in, like at Oklahoma and at Iowa State. You always got it from Norm Stewart and his guys up in Missouri. You get it here at K-State and also Kansas.
Well, the league has just gotten better, and obviously it's gotten bigger.
Well, the folks down at Texas will really pressure you as well. And also out on the South Plain at Texas Tech.
How about their win today? Texas and Texas Tech both with big wins today.
7-1. One of the things that Coach Asbury told us today is, I worry about the runs as Pollard going to go to the line for a couple. He said, you look up at the clock, and you were asking him about this, and he said all of a sudden it's an 18-1 and 18-3 run.
Yeah, they just make serious runs at you. Look at this screen here by Pollard. Just got there in time. Otherwise, it's illegal. But look at him flash to the ball, catch it, and go strong to the basket. Two good plays there offensively. The screen and then the flash catch and run to the basket. Plus, he's got the greatest chops in college basketball. I mean, those suckers are all the way down to the jaw line.
Sean Rhodes is going to have to come in. And, Larry, this is a situation they did not want to have happen early as Aker picks up his second foul. And we still have 18:04 to play in this first half.
And they have to go with a much smaller lineup now, obviously. Aker at 6'11", the transfer from Ohio State, the biggest player on this Wildcat club.
That's 4 points now for Pollard early. Rhodes, who just came in the ball game, a good shooter and actually had a very good game against KU last year in the Big 8 tournament, came off the bench for 11 points and 7 rebounds. Young pulls up from 15 to pass a little hard inside. Rhodes retrieves it. Schwarzenegger just off the mark. Pierce with the crossover dribble, and look who comes back with the rebound. LaFrance. You see why he's averaging over 8 a ball game.
Look at the movement underneath. Good rebound by Young that time. Mark Young, best offensive player K-State has.
They compared him to Blackman when he was signed here. He's the most outstanding recruit since then. Look away pass, and it's Pierce.
Ron, that was great communication that time. Tremendous communication. Pierce and Vaughn. Vaughn in midcourt turned and looked at Pierce. Pierce put the one finger in the air, said, let her go. And he did.
K-State's got to be careful here of just what we were talking about. We've only played 3 minutes. There you go. May knocks it down, the sophomore out of Lancaster, Texas.
They call him Paco.
Yeah, Ayumi is his first name, but you're right. That's what he wants to go by. It's going to be travel.
Go back and take a look. See the right side. Now watch the hand. It went up. Great catch by Pierce. Great toss by Vaughn. You think his timing's off? Forget it. Look up into the 18th row and deliver the pass.
Turn around. Young lost the handle. Pierce comes up with it. Barrett has. May with the push. It'll be the first on him and the third team foul on the Cats. Quickly off the bench is Dax Jones, a 7-footer, junior transfer from right down the road to Junction City, Kansas.
Number 21, Nick Bradford, and number 22, B.J. Williams.
Bradford is in. B.J. Williams is in.
Kansas uses a lot of players, 10 of them averaging 10 or more minutes a game. K-State somewhat limited. They only have 11 on their roster.
Pollard misses. B.J. Williams misses on the tap. And I believe it's going to be Pollard who picks up the foul. His first, second team foul on KU.
Second team foul.
Well, Ron, one of the things Kansas has done, they have come out and really attacked Kansas State. I mean, right from the beginning. They put full court pressure on them. They've attacked the offensive glass, but then they've had a lot of success here in Bramlage.
Schwarzentrooper, and he misses the layup. Knocked out of bounds. Whoop, I thought Williams touched it last. There's a timeout on the floor. We'll take it with him. KU, 11-3. We had a chance to talk with him. Just how tough was it having to sit on the bench during the injury and watch?
It was tough. I'll be lying if I said it was easy. But at the same time, it was a learning experience for me. I think that at the same time, I was continuing to get better as an athlete because I was able to analytically see things on the court that I wouldn't have saw that if I was playing on the court at the same time.
Larry, I know that the night you and I did the GW game over at Lawrence, though, he was so much a part of the team, even in street clothes. Not just physically, but mentally, wasn't he?
Well, you know, the physical part of his play is pretty well documented, but I think he is such a great leader. Maybe one of the finest I've ever seen in my covering college basketball, and that's been a while.
Kansas tried to get it inside, but Pollard got covered up quickly.
Kansas State in a straight man-to-man defense.
Bradford dished it off. 6 seconds and down to 5 of the shot clock, so Haas with a three-pointer won't go. It's Young who rebounds.
Well, Kansas gets back on defense so well.
Dies, fronts up to the hoop, unlucky on the shot. That thing rat-a-tatted in and out. We have now played 5 minutes, 11-3, KU on top.
Pollard really battling for position in there.
Working against Dies, and Dies knocked it away.
Nice pass. What a great bounce pass Haas made that time to Pollard.
Bradford will pick up the foul. Nick, a freshman out of Fayetteville, Arkansas, 6'6", 197.
Look at Haas. Look at this nice pass down inside. Realizing the Dies had come over to help, he knows the man has to be open. Pollard rolls, makes himself available, catches, and scores. That's the way you run the game. Well, that is pretty ball. Great basketball.
Chris Griffin is in the game, Larry, number 13. Transfer from Washington State. Actually looks more to pass and not to score. It's the book on him. Young double team as the bouncer inside, and he stepped on the line. Schwarzenberger couldn't control it, and as he went after the ball, stepped on the inline to Tom Asbury, saying, guys, we got 3 points in about 6 minutes. That's not going to cut it.
Kansas defenses have been outstanding, and their offense has been very patient. You know, it's pretty tough to be patient against a defense that just keeps coming at you,
TJ Pugh, number 32, in the ball game. Sophomore out of Omaha, Nebraska. They reset it. Shot clock is at 5. Vaughn. And a foul on B.J. Williams inside. That's 4 fouls on KU and the first on B.J., one of the team captains.
Ron, you see more and more of this in college basketball. If you've got an outstanding point guard and you're under 8 seconds on the shot clock, put it in the hands of the guy that can do the most with it, and that's Jock Vaughn, and let him create. He got his shot off, but the foul was committed on the missed shot. Offensive foul called on Schwarzenberger.
Foul's called on number 21, Aaron Schwarzenegger, his first personal. Fourth team foul.
First foul on him.
To give you an idea of what kind of stats these clubs have got. 86 points a game. They're averaging 15 more than their opponents. Kansas State only 5 above their opponents.
Pierce in the lob pass. He couldn't hang on to it, and he knocked it out of bounds in the turnover. So right now, defensively, K-State is holding their own, but they got to get something on the offensive end.
But Ryan, the one thing Tom Asbury was talking about it to us today, he says, I got to have somebody who can step up and do something. And he says, I haven't found that guy yet.
Rhodes against LaFrance.
Right now, they need a basket desperately. Somebody's got to step up.
There's Rhodes. Mentioned that Rhodes had a good game against KU in the Big 8 tournament. Kind of earned the nickname of Rhodes Warrior last year against both Colorado and Nebraska. Had great games on the road. Inside, you see him go up and get the block, and a foul is called on TJ Pugh of KU.
All right, back-to-back plays by somebody who stepped up. Sean Rhodes, the offensive roll underneath. Look at the block by Rhodes inside. Good offensive play, good defensive play. Maybe that'll get the Wildcats motivated.
Tom, long time at Pepperdine. As we mentioned, in his third season here at Manhattan. That ball is stripped. Great quick hands by Billy Thomas, and he'd be the recipient. Well, he couldn't score it, but he gets it back to Paul Pierce.
Nice pass inside. Blocked again. Rhodes.
Rhodes has really stepped up. Foul before the shot. That's going to be on Jacques Vaughn. And now KU is within one of putting K-State in the bonus at 16 fouls.
Illinois, the big win over Ohio State. Alabama up on, or Vandy up on Alabama.
And number 34, Max Jones.
Lon Kruger, an old K-State guy, doing well over at Illinois.
You're going to have to call timeout. That is a great job defensively as Josh Reed looked around and said, hey, I'm a freshman out of high school from Brewster, Kansas, and I didn't see zone defenses on inbound passes like that. Well, subscribe today to ESPN's Full Court Basketball Package. You'll see over 500 men's college basketball games, and the cost is only $79 for the season. Don't miss your favorite teams. Be sure and call your local cable operator or DirecTV. 236th meeting. It all started back in 1907. You see KU leads at 147-88. Well, they've won 13 straight here at this Coliseum, and you can bet the folks from K-State are well aware of it.
They don't like that very much around here. Got a full house. That's what you expect when these two get together.
Made too hard up the back iron, but Billy Thomas, well, he almost lost it and then got it again. Vaughn with a spin move inside, count to 2.
Well, that's got to be pleasant news. Anytime you can see your point guard who's missed 10 games playing as well as he has, he's got 5 already. Look at that defense by Vaughn.
Rhodes against LaFrance. Tried to get it to the cutter and then winds up putting up a shot. Would have missed the Pacific on that one.
And that's a long way away from here.
Turnover against KU as Vaughn and Pierce did not communicate properly. Timeout, 15-5 KU, just under 12 until halftime. Ryan Robertson checks in the ball game for KU. You know, Jacques Vaughn talked to us about this young man and what the wonderful job he did while Jacques was on the bench.
After I came back in the Washburn game, I pulled Ryan to the side and actually hugged him and told him that I appreciated what he had done the first 10 games and that the state of Kansas really didn't give him his due because he had done a lot for this team with the scrutiny that he was under. And he's a special person, a very special person.
Now there you look at Ryan Robertson, a sophomore out of St. Charles, Missouri.
He did a terrific job for this Kansas club. They went undefeated and stayed #1.
Griffin has to back it back out. May tries to reset him.
I'll tell you a funny story in a minute when he came out of the game that he relayed to somebody earlier. It's a cute story.
Rhodes has got 4 points off the bench. Ryan's dad played football here at K-State.
Good triple down that time. Not double, but triple.
Pass for three. Too hard off the back iron, but Pierce is right there. Dax Jones and the Friends had a pretty good collision, and that's going to be on Robertson, and that is 17 fouls on Kansas.
Down underneath, Kansas State starting to get on the backboard as Jones kind of nails Rafe LaFrance. LaFrance tried to go back a second time and got smart, pulled the chin away.
For Josh Reed.
Dax Jones in there doing some work, 7-footer. Actually, the biggest player on this club doesn't start for Kansas State, but Abilene are going to need him tonight with Aker on the bench with those fouls.
Aker, if you just joined us, got two very early and was on the bench 2 minutes into the ball game.
Well, let me go tell you that story real quickly about, it's a wonderful story about Ryan Robertson. When they took him out of the game the other night, when Jock Bond came in, the Kansas crowd stood and gave Jock Bond a standing ovation. He told a guy later on, he says, boy, are those fans great? They gave me a standing ovation when I came out of the game after 6 minutes.
That's, Larry, that's like the old joke. There's a pony in here somewhere. That's total optimism. Has his shot partially blocked, can't get the follow. And now I'll tell you, this baby is beginning to get physical, just like you expect Kansas and K-State to be. It's 15-8.
Kansas got a little bit of a drought offensively. Kansas State's picked up their defense and are starting to rebound a lot better.
Pierce way outside, and he's well off the mark. Jones comes down with the rebound. Now, if they score here, now this place is going to really come up on their feet. This is what K-State needs to shift the momentum.
Kansas not going to make it easy on them. Good man-to-man defense, overplay the passing lanes, deny the ball into the post. All easier said than done. 1-4 alignment by K-State. 4 guys low on the baseline.
Paco May drives the lane, gets it. He's got 5.
May can handle Has out front. He's got good quickness, puts it on the floor well. See if Kansas State can still keep it up there. Nice move.
Pollard missed it. The foul will be on Dax Jones. It's his first and the 5th team foul against K-State.
Foul number 34, Dax Jones.
Look at this number at home against number 1 since 1988. Knocked off Missouri and lost to KU and also to OU in both pretty close ball games. In fact, last year these teams played 3 times and all were darn close.
Yeah, one was 10, one was by 11, and the other one was by 6 in the Big 8 tournament. Roy Williams having a conversation right now with the officials. I'm not sure what this is about. And he's asked Tom Asbury to join the meeting.
We will get a translation on exactly what's happening, but he went straight to the officials and also motioned for Tom to come over.
I'm not sure what that was about because I didn't see anything going on. Obviously, it involved several officials, so it has to be something involved with timer or score. Oh, I see what was. Here is it's a missed shot. If the ball hits the rim, and it did, then they should have reset the shot clock. And he says it was not reset. Well, it gets a little smile at the end there, too. Maybe a little posturing, you think?
Well, it was time to posture. That's the first point that his team has scored in a while, or they haven't scored much in the last 5 minutes anyway.
Kansas comes right back with that full court pressure. Nice job by May to beat it very quick down the floor, and he lost it.
Tried to dish it off, and the Friends comes away with it. 4-on-1 on the break. And now Aker's got 3 fouls. And a really hard foul against Jared Hadd.
Did Aker or Griffin pick that up?
Oh, you're right. It was Griffin.
Oh, we're going to get an intentional foul here. The official calls an intentional foul on the other end of the floor. Look at LaFrentz come up with this ball. Good kick out pass to Robertson. Across. I'm not sure about that, Ron. I think maybe it's a hard foul, but I'm not sure I would have called this an intentional foul. He got a lot of the ball.
First point for Jared Haas, and it comes at the 9:19 mark of this first half.
Haas took a bad spill underneath there, and it was a hard foul, and it was definitely contact. I'm not sure I would have called it an intentional foul there, though. In fact, I think he hit the ball as well as his body.
I think you're right. Probably, if anything, Larry, that's the way he came across his body, really kind of chopped it. The only thing I could figure. So they get the ball as well. Kansas had led 15-5, then K-State came back in, scored 5 unanswered points, but now it's 19-10.
Double down on the press, good kick out to Haas. Nice pass. Great pass. Pierce made a great move.
They had missed 7 shots in a row from the field prior to that dunk.
Pierce handling the wing to the baseline and a nice drop pass inside the Pollard.
Guys. This is made. And he was fouled by Haas.
Watch Pollard underneath now. He's trying to get position. He knows the double team's coming. Look at himself. Right there. Makes himself available. Pierce gets him the ball.
And he knows they're going to double when they bring it down the baseline like that, and very wisely just takes a step back, and he's ready. It's the same as a give and go.
Well, the first thing you've got to do, you've got to realize if you're a post man and you see your guy make a move defensively to go pick up somebody, get your hands up, get your eyes open, and get ready to catch it. And Pollard having a great first half.
GW winning big today.
Over Rhode Island, over Dayton.
21-12. 10 points now for Pollard. May with 7. Those are the 2 leading scorers so far in our ballgame. Pierce.
Not a very good selection there on the shot by Pierce. Good defense by K-State. They got a chance to get back in this ball game if they can get a couple here.
Pierce has only got a couple of points. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a breather here shortly. Yep, in fact, here come 3 substitutions in the ball game. Billy Thomas comes in. Vaughn is back in the lineup. And B.J. Williams. And Pierce, LaFrentz, and Haas will get a breather. About to go under 8 minutes until halftime.
Well, the way Kansas plays, it's almost dictated that they have to play 10 guys. You cannot play that style of play up and down with all that pressure with just 6 or 7 people. Because Roy Williams is fortunate enough to be able to go down to 10 guys and lose very little when they reach down and grab those guys off the bench.
How many people could lose an All-American guard and still be undefeated? Shot clock is at 5. 3 on the way from Vaughn. Hard off the front iron. Schwarzenegger comes away with it.
Kansas State's done an awfully good job the last 8 minutes on defense. They've really made Kansas suffer.
Schwarzenegger got poked in the eye. So let's take a break. 7:26 until halftime. We'll take a timeout and back with more. Kansas leads at 21-12. Don't forget on Monday at ESPN, it's the debut of Big Monday. Starting in the Big East, Villanova freshman sensation Tim Thomas travel to take on a red-hot Providence team. Then it's a Big 12 clash as Reggie Freeman leads Texas into Kansas to face off against the Jayhawks and their leader, Jacques Vaughn. It's the Big Monday triple header on ESPN presented by Bud Light. UNLV and TCU coming up at midnight.
Texas-Kansas set up well with that Texas win today, and Kansas playing as well as they are.
Reggie had, 33 points in that ball game for Tom Pender's group.
Kansas 6 of 22 so far from the field. Not their typical shooting 51% for the year.
Dyes has it blocked by Pollard. That's 2 blocks for him in the first half.
He's now got 35 for the year.
Billy Thomas hanging, can't get it to go, tries to follow, and it'll come back with K-State. Schwartzentruber. Billy Thomas had 6 3-pointers in that game last week. Pollard with another block. May continues to fight, dives inside, and he'll score.
What a battle by the Wildcats. 2 offensive rebounds and finally a stick back. A little charged up right now.
Tom Asbury up over on the sideline. He's a little fired up as well.
So is his whole team.
Thomas misses on the long-range jumper, and it looks like B.J. Williams will pick up his 2nd foul.
Nice block inside by Pollard.
Number 22,
But watch the
BJ
battle by K-State. They go right back again. Guys gets it, goes back strong, gets it into the bottom of the net. That's good offensive rebounding.
Good look at Pollard. No one's ever called him a conformist. He's got 181 career blocked shots.
Got a chance if they go all the way to the Final Four and keeps up this average, maybe to be the #1 shot blocker all time at Kansas.
5 points now for Rhodes.
Roy Williams looking very pensive on the bench over there. Hey, anytime you play the biggest rival you've got on your schedule, it's going to be a war.
That's exactly right.
We're not talking about Marcus of Queensberry rules here. I mean, these folks are after each other.
When you talk about last year, KU was heavy favorite. It's just Dyes picks up the foul on Dyes his first. But last year's games, 11, 10, and 6 points.
His first personal. 16 foul.
Charlotte winning big against VMI. Memphis finally getting a win against Detroit. Struggle out in the Rainbow Classic. Houston a winner by 2.
At the line is number 31, Scott Pollard, shooting 1 and 1.
Houston a new member of the Conference USA basketball package.
Pollard puts up the shot. Can't get it to go. Dyes skies.
What did they do to Dyes? Man, oh man, is he getting up?
He really is. He's working hard. The thing is, when you take it inside, as you watch Rhodes fouled by Pollard, you can't hesitate and be head fake it. Take it strong to the hoop because these guys are going to be on you.
Well, let me tell you another thing. When you're playing against Kansas, if you beat their press and you've got a wide open 12 or 14-foot shot, I think you've got to take that shot.
I couldn't agree more.
When they come after you on defense, if they double on you, if not, they're going to make you take a bad shot. If you get an open shot, take it.
2 fouls on Scott Pollard and the 10th team foul against KU. And coming in for the Jayhawks is Haas. Robertson will go back to the bench.
I know that Tom Asbury preaches shot selection, poise, and patience. And I'm going to tell you what, I think anytime you get an open shot against a club that plays the way Kansas does, you've got to go ahead and do it.
You know, the great thing about Robertson, not only did he come in and gain such unbelievable experience early on in the absence of Vaughn, but he can play the 2 guard, which he did just a minute ago, very, very well. He was a point in high school.
What's hurting Kansas right now is what's been hurting Kansas State all year. They're just not shooting the ball very well.
They are 1 of their last 11 shots, Larry.
That's not shooting well. Nice pass inside. That's where they ought to go.
4-point game, and Dyes picks up the foul. 2 on him.
One of the things that Kansas has really greatly reduces the number of 3-point attempts that they've had from last year. They've decided they wanted to go inside, much like this pass went from Vaughn to Pollard. Roy Williams has really said, we want to go more to the inside. Get the ball to LaFrance, get it to Pollard, get it to Pierce. Higher percentage shots, and that's why they're shooting 51% this year.
At the line is Scott Pollard.
Scott Pollard at the line has a 1969 Cadillac convertible to the name Marvin, after Marvin the Martian. You know, he proposed to his girlfriend on the Midnight Madness night.
And I heard he was in costume, too.
Oh, my.
Painted fingernails and lips aglow.
And he and Jacques Vaughn are roommates. It kind of seems like the odd couple, doesn't it?
Jack Lemon and Jack Klugman. That's a pair, yeah.
Griffin saved it. Rhodes dishes too hard to Young, and they're going to call him for an offensive foul.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Vaughn was there to take the charge.
Yeah, Vaughn did a terrific job of taking that foul. Every time he goes down, there's a little bit of a shudder over on that bench.
Well, he took one the other night, and he said, I was a little apprehensive, but I was glad when it was over, and it let me know that, you know, I am 100% again, or darn close to it.
There's something else, too, in looking at him. Last year, I think he has filled out a little bit more this year. I think his shoulders and his arms are a little bit larger. We'll see right here as he takes the blow and goes down.
Returning for Kansas State is number 4, Manny Dies. For Sean Rhodes. On the line is Jacques Vaughn, shooting 1-1.
Vaughn swishes it. That's 6 points for him here in the first half. The difference maker as far as K-State is concerned in this ball game is Rhodes coming off the bench, 7 points, great hustle, and I think, Larry, he's the one that helped turn this thing around for them.
Well, he has, and the rest of the guys have kind of picked up the slack. Good steal by Pierce.
Vaughn unlucky on the shot.
John was trying to do a little selling right there. It didn't work. Tom Harrington said, no, no, no.
And so Jacques smiled at Tom and went running on down the floor to pick up Griffin. About to go under 5 minutes in this first half. 25-17 as it's knocked out of bounds by Haas.
I tell you what, I don't know of a play that I have seen this year where I've watched Gerald Haas not go full charge 100% every minute, every second.
You know, they started the stat at KU, floor burns, because of him. But it's because he spends so much time there, just whatever it takes.
Good defensive work that time by him on the baseline.
Vaughn drives the middle, Haas wide open. Don't need to tell you that was not a call that was agreed with here by the K-State faithful.
Watch Haas. This is his third three-point attempt that goes awry. Well, he kind of felt like Tom Asbury felt like he had got in behind him. Griffith gets called for the foul, though.
And that's 2 on Griffith. Both teams now have committed 10 team fouls. 23%, 6 of 26 tonight on the season. K-State is, or Kansas, I should say, averaging 51%.
But Kansas State hasn't been able to make up any ground, Ron, in the last 8 minutes. Simply because of Kansas defense. They just won't let them get any closer. They're up by 9.
They have been unlucky on about 4 or 5 shots, point blank range, either ratted in and out or like that one right there, just missed. Jones back to May, and he will take it in for the easy 2, and he missed that.
Boy. A lot of missed opportunities.
Schwarzenegger picks up the foul. K-State is shooting 26%. Here's an interesting number as you look at the replay.
Well, watch May go strong to the bat. Look at Vaughn all the way from the other side, and he really kind of threw May off just a little bit, enough to cause him to miss the shot. Now watch Vaughn at the other. A little crossover dribble. No way Schwarzenegger can keep up with that. The fouls, he reaches out and pushes. Schwarzenegger's got to go to the bench now. I think that was his 3rd foul.
On the line is Jacques Vaughn, shooting 2.
Two fouls.
Yeah. You know, an interesting number defensively on this group of seniors, this class with Jacques Vaughn. After 3 years and now as far as they are into this season. In 112 games, K-State or Kansas has only allowed 5 opponents to shoot over 50%. That's 112 games.
That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. But you know what it tells me? It's a club that takes a great deal of pride in their defense. I mean, they work hard at it. A lot of teams like to do it. When you take pride in it and guys go out there with a lot of motivation to play it, sure makes it tough on the other club.
4:15 until halftime. Robertson against May. May goes down. The bouncer underneath. And here's Aker. First 2 points of the game for Aker came almost 16 minutes into the half.
2 desperation passes that time. The last one by Mark Young.
8-point ball game. Rafe LaFrance.
Nice move to the basket. Nobody there from Kansas State to help.
LaFrance now with 4. There's Haas with another floor burn. And a 3-pointer. Young, the first 3 for him.
And Mark Young burned them.
Back to a 7-point ball game. The largest lead was 10 by KU, and they get another defensive stop. 2-pointer. He was inside the line.
Nice pass, and he lost it. Oh, Pugh had an easy layup.
Timeout. 3:05 until halftime, and they're standing and cheering here in Manhattan. It is back to a 7-point game. Led by as many as 10. K-State has cut it back to 7.
You know, usually you think of Kansas with a stronger bench coming into a game with Kansas State, but it's the Wildcats tonight that are having the success.
Well, Billy Thomas normally has got a hot hand.
Rhodes with 7.
Really fine shooter. B.J. Williams, neither of them. Well, obviously, nobody has scored off the bench. And T.J. Pugh missed that layup earlier.
Kansas with a 3-guard lineup in there right now.
Young with the turnaround. He got it. Robertson and May got tied up underneath. And it's stolen. Young will take it the distance.
They're loving it.
Seven points for Young now.
Kansas needs something positive here. K-State making a serious run. I'll tell you what, anytime you've got a senior guard that can play like Jock Vaughn does, he'll take over a game. They needed something to happen right there, and Jock Vaughn did something positive. He made him come after him.
That's 3 fouls on Griffin. So he's going to have to go to the bench. Schwarzenegger will come back in. Got his contact taken care of. Schwarzenegger had been out. Messed up that hamstring against Michigan State. He's been bothered by that as you look at the free throw shooting tonight. Kansas 14 of 17.
Roy Williams decides to stay with a smaller lineup. He replaced Pollard that time with LaFrance. Of course, B.J. Williams on the other side in that 3-guard lineup with Ryan Robertson. He's got Vaughn and Haas at the guard positions.
Returning for Kansas State, number 34, Dax Jones.
A little different look for the Jayhawks.
You know, it's interesting. It's not like K-State has gotten a late wake-up call offensively, but it's almost they were a little intimidated from the beginning. Just tight. And now all of a sudden they're playing looser. The crowd's more into it, and they've got this thing at a 5-point margin.
Tom Asbury's gone with a little bigger lineup.
Schwarzenegger can't get it to go. Dives. Did he touch it last? No. Knocked out by KU. Well, coming up at the halftime, the Delta Faucet halftime report with Carl Ravitch. Wake and North Carolina, big upset in the Big Ten at Stanford and Arizona. And a jump ball is going to be called as Robertson with a good job of hustle.
Well, I don't know the team anywhere in America that does a better job of defending the out of bounds than does Kansas. Here comes the double team out front.
May had the open shot, and it was partially blocked. I think LaFrance got just a little bit of it, but Jones steals it back.
He had guys wide open underneath and didn't see him.
Minute and a half to play until halftime. Count it. All of a sudden, Mark Young is hot. He's got 9.
I don't think the student body's been sitting the whole game.
No, they haven't.
They've been standing the whole time.
has made K-State's last 4 field goals as LaFrance drives the middle and from point-blank range knocks it down. Just nothing that Manny Dice can do about that.
Well, Dice or Jones, neither one can keep up with LaFrance. He's just too quick to the basket. Nice help by Williams. May wades off the screen. He's going to take him one-on-one. Ryan Robertson.
6 seconds on the shot clock, and Robertson or B.J. Williams, I believe they're pointing at him. And that's going to be 3 fouls on B.J.
When you get down to that final 8 seconds, put the ball in the hands of the guy that'll get it done for you. Oh, you know what? I thought maybe Robertson was the one that got him.
I did too, but they called a foul on Williams, his third. B.J. shaking his head saying, same thing you did, Larry. I thought Ryan got him. 7 points, 2 of 7 for the field tonight for May.
Well, I'm not sure it's proper etiquette to turn to the official and say, it was my partner that did it.
That's not good team stuff, Larry.
No, it's not. Taco May had the best field goal percentage among freshman players in the Big 8 last year. Pick up right where he left off.
Shot clock is off. Game clock under 22, under 21 and counting.
Zone defense for Kansas State. They're matching up.
They got it cleared for Jacques Vaughn inside to LaFrance, and he blows a layup from 2 feet away. Mark Young signals for the crowd to stand, and do they ever. It's halftime. KU 33 and K-State 29. Carl Ravitch. We got Manhattan 33-29 to score at halftime. And Larry, I can't remember the last time that I saw a KU team shoot 26%. And they just now got back out on the floor. I think there's a little warmth emanating from that locker room.
A little heat, yeah, I'd say so. Let's take a look at the halftime statistics very quickly. We'll show you the field goal percentage shooting. Only 27% for Kansas. Kansas State not much better at 37%. Here's what's keeping Kansas in the game. 16 of 19 from the free throw line. That's the reason they have this 4-point lead at halftime. 3-point field goals. You can see the Jayhawks very inefficient from beyond the arc tonight.
KU will open it up on offense here in the second half. They jumped out to a 10-1 lead. They led by as many as 15-5. Inside, and this is just the way they started the ball game, taking it inside to Pollard and LaFrance. And just like that, we start also with Aker getting a foul. It's his third.
Yeah, Ron, this is very reminiscent of the Cincinnati game when they really struggled in the first half, did not shoot the ball well, but turned it around in the second half. And I think it was the fire and brimstone delivery of halftime by Roy Williams that got that club turned around against Cincinnati. And I think maybe he may have delivered the same sermon just now.
I think you're exactly right. Aker has to come out of the ball game. He only played 6 minutes and 7 seconds in the first half because of foul problems. And now he's on the bench after 10 seconds.
Pollard with a good first half. 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Aker, only 2 points, no rebounds, no blocks. And Pollard just missed the first 2 free throws to start the second half for Kansas. That's going to be a hold, yeah.
Called for the foul, his third. I beg your pardon, his second.
Second personal.
Very important that somebody establish some sort of momentum to start the second half. For Kansas State, they had really wrapped up the first half with things going their way. Kansas needs to turn it around.
Rhodes, his pass, tipped by Pollard and almost stolen by Hatch.
You know, all this passing from east and west doesn't help. You got to go north and south with your passing. Look underneath and find somebody because Kansas is double teaming. They force you to go wide with the ball. I think the first look is down inside.
May pulls up, can't get it to go. Dice battles inside, can't get the follow.
But once again, Kansas State doing a nice job on that backboard. Dies was all over it. He has a habit of bringing the ball down and losing it, but this time, when he puts it down, there's nobody there to grab it. Kind of released it prematurely, and that's the result. Didn't go in, but he drew the foul from Pollard and gets a couple.
So Scott with 3 personal fouls as Dies misses the first free throw.
Dies not a good free throw shooter, only shooting 56% for the year.
Three-point game.
There's where they need to go.
Pollard, they flash him in the middle. He gets his own follow, misses that, and he'll get still another. Knocked away by Schwartzengruber, and the follow and the score by Pierce.
The ball's on the floor. I'll guarantee you there are a couple of Jayhawks down there around it. Nice pickup.
LaFrance. Vaughn misses. Pollard has it taken away by Rhodes.
How about Rhodes with a good strength? Power move. Young, good turn. And
Young out of control, and it cost him, Larry. Offensive foul.
Yeah.
His first.
He had a chance to pull up and take a little 10-foot jump shot, decided to take that one extra step, and it cost him.
Spin move into traffic, not wise when you're playing a team that does as good a job in transition defense as KU does.
We talked about the excellent performance in the first half of Sean Rhodes. It looks like he's going to pick up right where he left off.
Pierce inside. Missed. Knocked away. And it'll stay with Kansas.
Kansas State in the matchup zone. Let's see if they go back inside. Nice lob, and it didn't work. Vaughn threw it too low.
Plus the fact Rhodes had done a nice job as that one is blocked right back over here to us by Hass, and Vaughn is right down on the floor in front of us. You could hear the noise as he hit the table right here in front of us.
Watch Hass hustling back, right side of your screen. Watch him come across and block this shot. Oh, what a defensive play, Jared Hass.
And then Vaughn came diving into our table trying to save the ball. Dies has it taken away.
Not a good pass by Mark Young.
Pass along the baseline. Can't get it to go. Here comes K-State. Tom Asbury is up and saying, guys, slow it down. We can't run with these folks.
That's exactly right. Boy, was he animated when he made that decision, huh?
Yeah, he said, we don't have this kind of numbers. Our rotation is a lot smaller.
I think Vaughn might have gotten a piece of that.
I think you're right, because Young didn't even draw iron on it. Again, it's one of those constant things, Larry, that you brought up in the first half. They make you work on everything you do. Pollard, he gets hammered. That's Mark Young.
Obviously, one of the messages that Kansas got was getting the ball back inside. Look at Pollard maneuver here. He turns, got him on the hip. Nice pass inside and the foul. There are two things there. One is you got to make the maneuver to get to the inside, and once you get there, you got to have confidence enough that the guards are going to deliver the pass. They did.
Josh Reed comes into the lineup, number 22. He's a true freshman right out of high school, Brewster, Kansas. I mentioned him back in the first half. Nice touch on the ball, and as his teammates say, he is not afraid to shoot, even though he is a freshman. And it probably comes from the fact that he's one of 6 kids. Got to make your own way.
Well, the shooting has not improved in either club.
Pollard knocks it through, and Scott now has 14. 37-30.
Kansas in the zone defense now. Looks like a 1-3-1 matchup. Nice pass.
Dies.
Pollard again.
Boy, you don't have time to stop and put it on the floor. You got to take it up strong.
I think Griffin just picked up his 4th foul.
Yep, he did.
Foul called on number 13.
So that's 4 on him. He'll have to go to the bench. Akers already sitting on the bench with 3 fouls.
Look at Pollard. He actually jumped up over the top of another player. C.B. McGrath kicked it out. Vaughn got it. Go to the other end. Hass with a follow. Foul by Griffin, and Hass will get a couple.
Goes back to that point I made, dies again. Checked it for air instead of just taking it straight up to the hoop.
70% free throw shooting team. It's the first club I've seen this year that was above 70%, and now they're struggling from the free throw line.
So Aker comes back into the lineup playing with 3 fouls at the 16:54 mark. 0 for 7 for Haas tonight from the field. Some nights those things happen. The stroke is just not there. But what you don't get offensively from him, you get defensively as LaFrance comes away with a steal. And Schwartzengruber causes a turnover as LaFrance didn't see him from behind.
Look at Vaughn swipe that ball away.
Ash almost has a steal. Blocked by Pollard. That's 4 blocks for him in the ball game. 5, I beg your pardon. And Rafe LaFrance picks up the foul.
Once again, the turn to the inside. Pollard with his 5th block shot of the evening. Aker gets it back, kicks it out, says, I want no more of Mr. Pollard.
At the line will be Sean Rhodes.
Scott Pollard having one of his better games of the year on both ends of the floor.
Gets 2 of them. 38-32. About to go under 16 to play in the ball game.
Kansas continues to look inside. Nice double down that time.
Almost stolen by Schwartzengruber. Vaughn misses on the layup. Josh Reed, and they're right. The freshman's not afraid to put it up.
Aker wants it against Pollard. Good front by Pollard that time. Has the screen twice.
Schwartzengruber for 3.
He has struggled all night with his shot and gets the biggest one to get K-State within 3.
His first points for him tonight. Pollard with the easy shot because Aker went for the steal and went down on the floor.
Paul Pierce with a nice look inside. Once Aker hit the deck, he saw his man was wide open. Pollard rolled to the basket.
Yep, 40-35. Offense.
Tom Asbury a little upset. So is Schwartzengruber and about 13,000 other people.
Timeout on the floor. 15-10 left in the ball game. It is KU by 5. Which the charge was called and a technical has been assessed.
Well, the question is, was Pollard set, and was he set before Schwartzengruber got in the air? If he was, then the call is correct. Obviously, Tom Asbury disagreed, and it cost him a technical foul.
Second half, Kansas 2 of 8. K-State only 1 of 8 in the second half. This is exactly the way they started off the first part of the game.
And Kansas State continues to be overwhelming with the bench scoring. 10 points, and Kansas is yet to have a single player off the bench score. Incredible.
So now the foul situation. Griffin on the bench with 4. Aker with 3, and Schwarzenegger also with 3 for K-State. Williams with 3 and Pollard for 3 for the Jayhawks. 7-point ball game. Kansas. In the lineup, number 22. Pierce for 3. Big bucket. That's huge. He was cold in the first half, and they need for him or somebody to step up.
He was 1 of 7 in the first half.
Now he's got 8 points. And a 10-point margin again for Kansas. Blocked by Hatch.
Well, he has made 2 terrific defensive plays down on that end.
Like I said, even when he's not getting it done offensively, defensively, he still leaves such a mark, doesn't he, Larry?
Well, he makes things happen. I mean, he makes other guys better, too. Good block? No, goaltending.
Pugh with his first 2 points of the night. Aker charged with the goaltend. That's the first bench points for KU tonight. So 14-10 in the second half.
Now consider, they get 2 on the technical foul. Pierce's 3 right here. And then a goaltending call. 7 points, and now Kansas with a 12-point lead. Kansas State needs to regroup.
May and Robertson way outside as that shot clock is about to go inside of 10.
May's trying to take Robertson one-on-one. They spread it out for him.
Robertson got a little piece of it, and he still scored.
You know what? I think Robertson might have gotten him on the elbow.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right, Larry. Back to 10-point game, double figures for him. On the follow, B.J. Williams. First 2 for Williams. Now all of a sudden, the bench is coming through for Kansas.
Kansas doing a nice job on their interior defense. That's 2 big baskets for K-State. Schwarzenegger with that one there tells me that they haven't panicked. When Kansas got out to that 12-point lead, they stayed with their knitting.
T.J. Pugh got it.
Well, that's a nice catch. Almost lost it.
He just reversed it. Good athleticism. He's gained almost 25 pounds since last year. A lot bigger and stronger than he was. Off the mark on that one. Can't help but think that hamstring is still bothering him, Larry.
He didn't shoot that one very cleanly.
It's going to be May.
Foul number 21, Aaron Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Schwarzenegger, I beg your pardon. He's 3rd and the 7th team foul. No, Schwarzenegger, that's his 4th because he got his 3rd just a moment ago. So now Griffin and Schwarzenegger with 4 fouls each.
Kansas starting to put a little daylight between they and the Wildcats. They continue to make these free throws and continue their good offensive game along with their defense to be on their way. Boy, Haas has really struggled from the free throw line. What's Haas's work here? I mean, he is all over the score. I don't think there's a single square inch of the score that he hasn't been on tonight, either with his backside or his belly.
4 people coming in for KU. Pollard, Billy Thomas will check in. Rafe LaFrance back in the ball game. Pierce is there. Robertson will stay.
And you like to be the opposing team, and every time you look up, you've been out there just laying it on the line, and here comes a fresh set of legs
like
about every 5 or 6 minutes.
A new wave. It's like hockey. It's an entire group comes over the boards. And they're all just as good as the ones who are leaving, or better.
That's going to be a foul on Pierce.
Schwarzenegger, you can see him favoring that leg as though that hamstring is really bothering him now. 2nd personal foul against Pierce. Scoreboard says 3, but our official stat guy says it's 2.
Pierce just picked up another foul on the baseline move.
So now it's 3.
They were just trying to catch up.
12 minutes left in our ball game. 52-30.
Another one for Pierce. What is that, 3 fouls in 30 seconds?
Now they are saying that that is his 5th foul. We're double checking.
Let's go back and take a look at this foul. I know there's been 3 fouls in the last 30 seconds. That was the last one. We just don't know if it's 4 or 5 right now, but we'll tell you when we come back.
52-39 KU. 52-39 our score, and Paul Pierce has 4. We were right. The official stat man during the timeout, the KU assistant coaches went over and said, wait a minute, he only had 1 at halftime. He just picked up 3, but that counts. That's 4. And they were correct. He has 3 fouls in 19 seconds. I knew it was fast. That may be a conference record. Well, it is in the Big 12. Put that in your book, Larry.
Hey, by the way, Jerry Green, head coach out in Oregon, and old Roy Williams, assistant coach, doing a great job out there.
Bradford for 3. Oh, that thing went all the way around and back out. Here comes May.
Gonna go up.
Tip by Schwarzenegger, not there.
Boy, does he have a patent on that shot. I'm telling you, that little baseline turnaround, left-handed jump shot from about 8 feet.
That is nice touch. 54-39.
That's exactly where you want to get in the basketball, just out on the side there.
Young couldn't get it, and Young very foolishly just ran over LaFrance. That's 3 on him.
Foul number 5, Mark Young, his 3rd personal. 8-team foul.
How about that Pacific team out
You know, we were talking last week during some of the bowl games, and several people who had seen them, those late-night guys that stand and watch those games on the coast. And one guy commented, he said, watch that Pacific team. They are a very, very good basketball team.
It's always about this time of the year we start seeing those little teams that nobody's heard about start to crop up. There are usually 5 or 6 of them out there. Kansas continues to struggle in the second half from the free throw line.
Saw Nick Bradford had a shot at tipping that up. He's off the mark with it. 54-39. It continues, and about to go under 10 minutes left in the ball game. Schwarzenegger lost his footing, and a 20-second timeout is called by K-State.
20-second timeout.
Well, at 5 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow, the Memphis women are bolting to the Bayou where they take on Tulane in a Conference USA battle. Memphis is last in the conference, last season's conference champion, and they look to forward LaTanya Johnson to take it to the hoop. Women's NCAA tomorrow on the Deuce.
Jock Vaughn has been awfully good for this Kansas club. 10 points, 3 assists, 3 turnovers. In fact, he had those 10 points at halftime. 24 minutes of play. It's unusual for him to have 3 turnovers.
You know, Roy told him that actually he wanted Jock to make up his mind, but boy, the last thing he wanted to do was rush him. And it's something that they really have tried to guard against. The Dies takes it up strong inside, scores with the left hand. This is a 16-6 run now by KU with that last hoop.
Pollard trying to work free inside. Nice switch by Dies.
Billy Thomas way outside. He had 6 3-pointers in their last game against Brown, but he is not on target tonight. Reed. And the freshman knocks down his first 2.
Mr. Basketball in Kansas last year. Nice move.
Stanley Thomas. Josh Reed skies for the rebound.
Well, he can't find it from three-point range so far tonight.
Schwarzenegger.
Are they coming back?
9-point game, and quickly Jacques Vaughn and Haas are off the bench.
Schwarzenegger looks like he's ready for bed right now. He looks like he is worn out.
He really does. You know, when you're playing with an injury like that, plus the tension of this rivalry, it'll take it out of you. 9:03 left in the game. K-State has cut it to 9. Win over #1 Kansas. Tonight they face #1 Kansas, and it's a 9-point ball game. Larry, what do they have to do to stop the bleeding?
Well, right now, May's got to score some baskets. He's not getting it done outside. Look at that inside play. He walked with the basketball. Good play by Josh Reed. Kansas right now has gotten out to a big lead, and Kansas State has started to come back on it. The one thing they don't want to do, and Roy Williams knows this, is get this crowd back in the game.
Exactly.
Kansas needs to continue to look inside. Look for LaFrance.
Pass from Haas, and B.J. Williams couldn't get to it.
Williams actually trying to back his defender away, and as he was pushing him away, the ball was dropped in there, and they just continued to go right on out of bounds.
10 turnovers now against the Jayhawks. against K-State in the game. And Aker almost made it 17. Reed for three. Rhodes, I beg your pardon.
That man is back. Sean Rhodes, 7 in the first half and a big 3 there.
Foul on May. His second.
How about that first step by Jared Haas? He saw May coming toward him, and he went right to the floor with it. Terrific move by Haas, but go back and look at this play. There's Rhodes hitting a big one. Vaughn went right by him, trying to swat at the ball, and he still got it to go in. Foul on May.
B.J. Williams comes out. Scott Pollard will come back into the lineup. Paco May picks up his second. And he's going to come out of the ball game to get a breather. Kansas State, Larry's on a 9-0 run.
Haas with another miss at the free throw line. Second half free throw shooting has really spelled doom for Kansas so far.
Rhodes is going to go to the line, and it could be any one of 3 people, but it looks like 31, Scott Pollard. That's his fourth. So the foul situation for Kansas now. Pierce and Pollard with 4, Williams with 3.
Good lob pass to Rhodes inside. A little bit of a fake. You see LaFrance and Pollard there to try to stop him.
And it could have been either one of them.
Yeah. You know what we talked about in the first half, Tom Asbury trying to find somebody who's going to step up. This is the guy that has stepped up tonight for Kansas State.
You know what? They did change it to LaFrance, and it sure looked like it, didn't it?
It did.
So
nice move. Inside Jared Haas with a great baseline move.
So Pollard still with only 3 fouls. Haas now over the 1,000-point mark in KU. As Rhodes hits again, it's only 2. He got a foot on the line. Aker blocked on the fringe, can't get the follow. It's on the floor, and it's going to stay with KU.
Sean Rhodes has been down this road before. Watch him catch. Nice little push-off on LaFrance. Got him free. Got the bottom of the net. Here's the block. Aker from the backside. Ball's out of bounds. Haas is laying down there. Actually, it was off of Reed, who was laying on the floor.
Haas with 1,001 points. The 34th player in KU history to join that 1,000-point mark as Robertson hustles for the rebound.
Foul is called number 45, Gerald Aker. His fourth.
Aker with his fourth foul.
Well, this is the type of foul you don't want to make in this situation. Loose ball down there. You can see the battle going on. Robertson comes up with it. And then Aker just jumps on his back.
He did. He just ran over him. Cass, by the way, now joins Scott Pollard and Rafe LaFrance, and actually soon to be 1,000-point member Jacques Vaughn.
They've had a few thousand-point scorers in the history of that program.
34. They sure have. 34. You've also got to consider Haas has done it. He had 1 year at Cal, so he hasn't been at KU for the entire time.
Boy, Kansas still struggling with his strike. There's one.
Robertson with his first point of the night. 57-51. 6.5 minutes left in this one. And I think Roy Williams is thinking, I don't want Tom Asbury's club any closer than they are right now. Aker blocked by Pollard. Schwarzenegger gets it back.
There are no easy passes to be made against this Kansas defense.
Dice got it.
Go back and watch the play by Dice. He knows Pollard's coming. He goes to the other side, gets it up away from Haas and Pollard. Bucket, chance for a three-point play. Nice lob pass over Pollard, and Haas came across.
Hit him across the forehead. He has 3 fouls now. That's 18 fouls on KU. K-State had an opportunity to get it back, and you could see Mark Young upset with himself. It just went right through his hand. 4-point game. And just what Larry said, the KU didn't want to happen. The crowd is back in it.
Kansas wants to go inside. They want Pollard.
They got it. Blocked by Aker. Pass in the follow. Not there. And a foul on B.J. Williams, I believe.
Look at Dice on defense on the backside. Pollard's got a wide open shot, and Aker comes all the way across the lane. Great defensive help. Look at this. Aker with a good rejection.
Now at the free throw line in the second half, K-State is 4 of 8. Kansas, by the way, is 7 of 14. KU 57, K-State 55. 5.5 minutes left. Great hustle by Young. It'll stay with the Jayhawks, though.
Well, if you're Mark Young and you've got that kind of leaping ability, you can afford to play behind, and he does against Pierce. But once the ball goes to the right side, he hooks it away. Tell you what, that's a lot of confidence for that young man, Mark Young, to play defense behind Paul Pierce, who is very strong with his back to the basket.
Jacques Vaughn out front. Passes inside. Dies almost took it away from Pollard, and Aker with another block. and he was fouled. If it's against Aker, he's gone. If it's against Dice.
Foul was called on number 45, Gerald Aker.
Once again, Pollard spread out. Good job by Dice to slap it away. Blocked again by Aker. Look at LaFrance and Pollard. That's walking when both guys on the same team are holding the basketball. We had no whistle.
That's 5 fouls on Aker. He leaves with 2 points. Barely played over 6 minutes in the first half. And Larry, you could see that graphic. He leaves with no rebounds in the ballgame official.
But I'm going to tell you, in the second half, he was a defensive presence. He really caused Kansas to readjust their shots. He also had them thinking about where they were going to go if the ball came inside. What has happened to the free throw shooting of the Jayhawks in this second half?
For the ball game, they are 23 of 34. Pollard now with 17. Dished it to Dice. May's going to bring it back out. They get a fresh 35.
That was probably a pretty good idea. He was staring down a double gun barrel. LaFrance and Pollard were waiting on him. There's the hot man, Rhodes, right now.
Schwarzenegger falling away, can't get it. Pollard with a huge rebound for the Jayhawks.
Kansas State doing a much better job helping on defense this half. Making it tough on Kansas. They're not making that extra pass.
LaFrance from 17, not there. Rebound grab by Dice, and a jump ball because of the hustle of Hayes.
Oh, I tell you what, Manny Dice was celebrating too much. He really was. He had the rebound, could have gotten the ball out. Once he got it, he wanted to let everybody know he had it. Look at him. Get rid of the ball. Now what that does is give Kansas the next possession. Nice double team by Hassan Bond. Foul by Pierce. He's gone.
That'll do it for him. Pierce leaves with 8 points.
Foul was called on number 34, Paul Pierce, his 5th personal foul.
You know, Ron, and the fouls he made were the types of fouls you wouldn't expect a player of his quality to make. I mean, this is not a foul that he really needs to make. I mean, that's just a reach-in foul, and he knows he's got 4 on him.
So Billy Thomas comes in. Thomas tonight 0 of 2 from the field.
Aaron Schwarzenegger shooting 2.
Got them both. Let's take a timeout. 3:45 to play. A 1-point game. From Manhattan, Kansas. Larry, this is an 18-4 run by Kansas State. Interestingly, it was after KU had their largest lead of 54-39.
You think that old Bramlage jinx is over?
Well, they're sure trying for it. And LaFrance, who do you go to? Can't get it. Pollard misses on the tip. And here comes K-State as Young grabs down the rebound.
I'll tell you something Kansas State has done awfully well in the second half is rebound. They have not allowed Kansas to get on that backboard.
Young blocked by Pollard.
6 blocks tonight for Scott Pollard.
Billy Thomas took one dribble too many. Had him open on the wing. Wanted to get him the really open shot. Well, the last win is that highlights you saw just a moment ago, the flashback, and KU was #1 at that time. That was 1994 in January at Lawrence, and that was blocked by LaFrance.
Two good defensive plays in a row by Kansas. One by Pollard and one by LaFrance. Look to the inside.
Thomas for three.
Look at LaFrance. Oh, big. Great LaFrance.
Put an asterisk by that one at the 2:24 mark. In the second half in rebounds, KU 20, K-State 19.
That one was a big one, though, for Kansas.
Turn around by Rhodes. Not there. Pollard grabs it off. LaFrance now 10 points and 11 rebounds as Dice on the steal, and he scores.
What a great steal by Mark Young. Scott Pollard did not seem thievery at his beckoning call.
60-59. You see the clock. We're under 2 minutes. LaFrance unlucky. And again, Mark Young, the junior from Baton Rouge, grabs off the rebound. And this crowd is absolutely at a frenzy.
So are we.
Kansas State, remember, has never led in this basketball game. They trail by 1 right now. And the roof may come off if they take the lead. Rhodes is open. John Vaughn gets the carry.
Maybe the legs weren't there.
20-second timeout called by KU.
Watch Pollard here. That's a terrific play. Smart heads-up play by Mark Young. He drops it inside. Manny Dice goes straight up. Pollard avoids his foul. Pollard knew he made a bad pass as soon as he let it go.
Sports Center coming up immediately following our game, the NFL playoffs, and another shocker today. Carolina against #2 Wake and those streaking Flyers. That and more coming up on Sports Center with Gary Miller and Linda Cohen.
You think Gary and Linda are watching this one?
I know they are. Praying that we don't go into overtime. They're both shaking their heads right now.
Here we go. Final minute and 5 seconds.
KU got the play in. Let's see if they can get it to work. Pass. Picked up the dribble now. Back out to Billy Thomas.
They want Pollard or they want LaFrance.
Pass with a hand in his face. Not a good shot. Schwarzenegger comes away with it.
That was a very poor selection in his time.
It's a full timeout. We'll take it with him. 40 seconds left in a 1-point game. Well, here's the situation. You see the clock running down. A 1-point game, 60-59. Rhodes will retrieve it. Dice.
Oh, he had Mark Young open. Rhodes.
Tip inside, won't go, and KU has the basketball as B.J. Williams comes away with it, and a foul against K-State. The way they've been shooting free throws in the second half, it might not be all bad.
Yeah, Kansas State had a couple of opportunities there. Let's go back and take a look. Dice gets to the Rhodes, who's been the hot man from beyond the arc. Shoots it just a little long. Good tip. Williams comes down with the rebound, and there's the foul.
By the way, Jacques Vaughn, and looking back at the numbers, don't forget Sports Center coming up next. Jacques Vaughn has been shut out in the second half. He has not scored, Larry.
Big free throws here, obviously, for B.J. Williams, who's pretty consistent. Oh, that was bad. He never even drew iron. Not even close.
Tom Asbury, you can see him telling his folks on the floor, call it 20 at the end of this. And he missed them both, but the tip back out, and Vaughn will get it. Under 15 seconds to play. And the foul against K-State. Mark Young.
How many times do you see it? Guy jumps in there quickly and gets that rebound. He doesn't have the inside position on a free throw. That was a costly rebound for Kansas State and an excellent play by Kansas.
And Asbury looks on helplessly, knowing that KU was going to either get the ball back or go to the free throw line after the foul by Mark Young, who was fouled out of the game. Young with 11 points.
They're waiting for a replacement right now. They were getting ready to shoot the free throw, and Kansas State only had 4 players out there.
Josh Reed will come in. KU is 8 of 18 shooting free throws in the second half. Well, I said he hadn't scored in the second half until now. And can you think of anybody you'd rather have at the line as far as handling pressure?
And this is what senior leadership is all about.
Blitzed them both. Nothing but cord. So Kansas calls a timeout with 13.5 seconds left in our ball game, and their lead is back to 3. We'll be right 2:59 with 13.5 seconds left. And Jacques Vaughn steps to the line. As you look at the timeouts remaining in the ball game, and Larry, as we said, you couldn't think of anybody you'd rather have in that situation at the free throw line.
All right, let's talk about the final 13.5 seconds we've got here. Kansas State needs a 3-point field goal. Where do you look? Sean Rose has been the hot 3-point shooter for them tonight. Schwarzenegger has to be the other consideration. Those are the only 2 guys that can go outside and shoot that 3.
KU's going to pick them up full court, not let them breeze it down. They'll give them some resistance. Griffin. Schwarzenegger for 3. Didn't touch anything. Now here's the question. KU has called a timeout. K-State trying to say it did touch iron, but it didn't.
Full timeout, Kansas.
It is a full timeout. Look at it on the replay.
Well, Schwarzenegger tried to get rid of this ball before Vaughn got to him. You can see the launch. Looked like it didn't hit anything. Looked like it went straight underneath. Let's get it from underneath. A little better angle. No, I don't think it got anything.
Sports Center coming up next immediately following this one, and we have 4.9 seconds left. Gary Miller and Linda Cohn standing by.
Right now in this situation, and thank you for the promo right there, letting everybody know around the country by putting the sign up. You know, we don't need to say that anymore. They've got all the signs for us.
These kids, you know, the pep bands play the Sports Center music. They hold up the signs. A couple of the things they'll be talking about tonight, other than college basketball, a huge win for Dick Bennett and that Wisconsin team over Indiana today. Also the NFL playoffs, a shocker in the Mile High City today.
Who would have ever thought?
Whew. Hey, they were huge underdogs. Nobody gave them a chance.
So look at that Kansas huddle, and there's the man right now who's putting Kansas ahead. 32 minutes of play tonight. 12 points, 3 assists, 3 turnovers. Right now, if you're Kansas, you go for the long one. I would run out right now. Just run out.
There goes Robertson. But he gets it away to Haas. May fouls in.
Fouls on number 12, Paco May. 3rd personal. That line is Jared Haas, shooting 2.
6 of 9 tonight at the free throw line. Those misses have come in the second half.
Just amazing to me. This man has been so consistent from the free throw line at 76%. And for some reason, that basket's got a lid on it for him tonight from the charity stand.
They missed them both. Rhodes calls a timeout with 2.4 seconds. 3-point ball game. So it's a 20-second timeout, and K-State has nothing left. No full timeouts, no 20-second timeouts.
Well, the first pass has got to be to midcourt. They've got 2.4. They've got to get it immediately to midcourt, and they've got time for maybe one other pass. If not, it's 2 dribbles and a launch.
K-State, you can see their numbers from 3-point range for this year. Well, it happened on our game that kicked off today down in New Orleans as New Orleans hit one from just about midcourt to get the victory.
You see how Kansas plays this defensively. K-State's got to go the length of the floor.
Pass goes to Rhodes. Puts it on the floor 3 times. Shot away. Won't count. So this one is over. KU, Larry, survives a 29% shooting night. They still remain undefeated for the season, and also at Bramlage, 62-59, our final score here tonight. So for Larry Conley, this is Ron Franklin saying so long from Manhattan, Kansas.